Hello, I'm making this video just to talk about something. My face looks round because I was like eating. Anyways, something that humans should know, I feel like mankind needs to know, is we need to learn to really remember what values are, what respect is, and that there will always remain the truth that there is a hierarchy. We do respect our elders, we do respect people. It's not, oh, black rights, oh, feminism rights. Now that we have these rights, we're allowed to do whatever we want. And atheists rule. Like, people who believe in God are idiots. Condemn them. I feel like that's what's socially acceptable now, and what the general public is doing now is just, hey guys, because we are just, because we're meant to be equal, you're not allowed to believe in God, and if you do, you're an idiot. Or, oh, if you're a feminist, you must be narrow-minded, you must be self-righteous, you must be selfish, you must be a selfish woman who wants so many rights when men are already doing so much for you. When men get treated like this in certain situations, we don't complain. Oh, black people, you have too many rights already. Oh, you're just taking all of our taxes. We're the ones who care for you, and you still make crime happen. I feel like that's the world today at the moment. Sorry for looking bad. I slept at 5 AM because I was on my phone watching BTS videos. Yeah. Yes. I feel like people need to remember who they are from the inside. We all have an identity. We're not here just to breed and die. Science isn't the optimum truth. Science is a study, an observation and analyzation of what already exists. So those who say science is the only way anything can be proved. It's like, how can you say that when there's so many different aspects of being alive? The physical, the emotional, the mental, they're all real. In fact, the physical is less important compared to what we feel, because what we feel is infinite. And no matter what we do physically, it's how it affects us intangibly, so we can't see it. It's how we feel it, it's how we perceive it, it's how we understand things that really mean something, that really makes the moment, that really makes that birthday party happy. It's not the fact that you ate cake, it's the fact that you could eat it happily, enjoying the moment with your friends and family. It's not that when you were at a funeral that it's not that the person was physically not there anymore necessarily that you were so sad. It's the fact that you knew them and they were attached to you. You had a connection that's beyond just physical. It was, if maybe they were your family member and they were your great grandma and you loved them, and that's so much stronger than anything physical. You can't explain it by saying, oh, science, it's the brain. So is the feeling of love that you feel for people, is that just a delusion because of the brain's chemicals? That's the physical aspect of it. What's true is what you feel. What you feel, do not ever disregard our feelings as just some scientific, just a delusion. How can you say that after everything humankind has gone through, all these centuries, eons of fighting for our rights, so that humankind can finally live in peace. And now we can live as close to peace as we ever have, at least for as long as we know. The last 2,000 years, there's been so many deaths, tortures, executions, murders, and it was all acceptable. Wars, so much was acceptable that we know now is just terrible. You don't do that. You know it's wrong. The problem we have today is that because we don't have those things in our daily lives to remind us what really matters, we get so offended over petty little issues, and when someone speaks out about the fact that this is all wrong, like you're using the name of justice in the completely wrong way. People who stand up for feminism for all the right ways, I respect them so much, and I think other people should respect them too. But then other people put them down and say, actually, real feminism is being equal. If a woman hits a man, he can hit her back. Now, it sounds physically logical. Like, if you hear it, it's like, okay, one party hits the other, then the other can equally hit them back. Okay, makes sense. Not my inner self, what I feel, the values that's intangible. Like, I just know that's wrong. Of course, the woman shouldn't hit the man in the first place, but to justify it in that way, like, if the woman hits the man can hit her back. There you go, feminism. How cruel, how hideous is that? Mankind needs to own up to its mistakes. I don't mean just males, but all humans need to know that if someone says there is a problem, you don't get offended about it. You don't get all defiant and say it's not true and try to make up reasons why their rationale is irrational. You should be understanding, perceptive, and ask why, how, what do you mean? And try to understand. Be like, oh my gosh, that makes sense. And apply it to yourself, apply it to your own head, even if you've never experienced it firsthand. Relate it to something similar to what you've been through. Polar opposite, but at the same time, it's all the same thing. At the same time, if someone complains about something and they're expressing it because they feel it, not because they're being narrow-minded or judgmental, you should respect it instead of being like, well, maybe they were just being like this. Maybe you're just being narrow-minded. That's you being narrow-minded, actually. There's so many things wrong with everything these days. It's just people don't know their priorities anymore, their values. So many humans. And I'm not trying to be racist, but most of this I've experienced with white people. And the reason I feel like is because they don't have a culture, most of all. They have some sort of culture, but they don't have those set cultures that we Asians, black people, and others, like people of these different places, they have such deep rules, guidelines. And of course, there are disadvantages to that. There are some things a bit wrong with some of that, but really, ultimately, I feel like it's the right way to be. It's good to be free, it's good to respect everyone, but it's also ridiculous to completely disregard all of that. History is not just, it's not a fool. You don't make light of what the world has been through. People have died for you. People have died, fought, sacrificed everything for the better of the future. Our ancestors have done so much for us, and this is how we take advantage of everything that we now have. We have to remember our values. And I kind of left the funeral example unfinished, but basically what I was trying to say was, if someone died in a funeral and you're at a funeral, you're sad because that connection. Like, they're not there anymore. It's not that they're physically not there, like their body physically isn't here anymore. So scientifically it means that the brain deludes itself into thinking, hey, this body is next to me, is near me all the time, and now that it's gone, the brain deceives the person into thinking, hey, that physical attachment's not there anymore. And that's why you're thinking you're sad, because your brain deceives you. That's what it would sound like if we applied your scientific rationality to this. But that's not the case at all. It's because we feel, it's because we loved that person and we knew them and there was a connection and our lives interrelated emotionally, spiritually. We felt it. And that's why when they're gone, it's so sad, because everything that we stored up together, like with your great grandmother, like whoever it was, your friend, it's like, goodbye now. I don't get to connect with you anymore for now in this lifetime. That's the sad part. Yeah, it's intangible. The people need to know that disregarding everything completely, even if you're atheist, disregarding all beliefs other than atheism, is pure ignorance. There is so much to learn from the fact that there even are all of these religions. Of course, religion has done very wrong things in the past, but I just feel like it's totally just inappropriate and disrespectful to the millions, billions of humans who have lived on this earth before you with so much knowledge and wisdom, and you're just throwing it all away saying, oh, humans have done this just because of this reason, just because they were deluded, just because, scientifically we're on Earth and our only sole purpose is to breed, but we want to try and make meaning out of it, so that's why people create a religion. Well, why would we need to feel like we need to make meaning in the first place? The fact that that exists, the fact we felt like we needed to make meaning, in itself proves there is something more than just being physically here. We're not just here to breed, especially like since some of us are asexual, some of us don't have an interest in marrying. We're not here to breed. Like, is that our ultimate purpose? There is so much. Why do we have passion? Why do we have dreams? Why do we have dreams as well when we're sleeping? Why do we spread mental awareness now? Why do we have the feeling of instincts and conscience? And if you watch those shows like What Would You Do? Why do people feel like something's wrong, something must be righted, if that's a word? Like, if something's going unjustly and you need to step up and talk about it, why do we have that need? It's because it exists. It's because emotions do exist. It's not something that the brain's chemically deceiving you about. I mean, if you're gonna disregard emotions, then perhaps the brain itself is fake. Maybe we don't even exist. Maybe the physical part is also a joke. Maybe science is a joke. See, it doesn't make sense if you just say science is the only real thing and everything else is fake. Like, then we could say vice versa. Like, you have to take into account everything. Stop closing your mind to everything just because you think it's too difficult. The best way to really be at peace whilst being aware of the dark side of things as well as the great side, the negative and the positive, is to truly know your true self. Your core. In any small moment of anxiousness, despair, or anything, and you immediately try to avoid it by being ignorant and saying it's not real, That's what's keeping you ignorant, okay? That's the reason why you think that there's nothing more than just, oh, like, whatever, like, we're just human, we're just flesh. And culture's just a human's way to, like, humankind's way of trying to create peace, like a civilized community or something. Nope. Nope. Everything exists because there is truth to it. Of course, some of it has been twisted, used the wrong way, but everything exists for a reason, and you should try and figure out why instead of disregarding so much history that has happened and just writing it off as one simple, ignorant, stupid thing. Okay, I hope you know what I mean. This is very deep stuff, but really, value humans and learn to be more perceptive, put others before yourselves. At the same time, never devalue yourself. When I say put others before yourself, I mean think from their perspective to understand what they mean. Only then can you truly learn and connect with them. We aren't individual fleshes of meat, pieces of meat, walking around with no purpose. We're a community. Why do animals walk around in packs? Why do fishes swim together? We're meant to be connected. Humans are here together as one whole community. That's why I hate it. I hate it when for example, I'm feeling like upset because someone is misunderstanding me terribly about a certain situation, and then I try to express it because that's the best way I can heal the issue if they're not going to listen at all. And then the person who's listening to me is like, just forget about it. Why do you care so much? Who cares what people say? Blah 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 blah. It's like you seem to be trying to say something that's right. Like, who cares what people say? Just live for yourself. Ha ha ha. But in this situation, that's just being ignorant, unhelpful, and it's just basically saying, I don't care what you're going through. Why are you telling me? Who cares what you're going through? Ignore all your problems. Never face any of your issues. Just live blindly with no purpose and die because you are just a flesh of meat. That's basically what you're saying. Instead of that, you should be a bit more perceptive and sensitive. I think sensitivity is really underrated in today's day and age. It's like the moment someone is really understanding and really expressive, it's like the need to express yourself is just automatically labeled as crazy. That's why you need to speak to a counselor if you have an overdue amount of emotions. That's not true. It's not a counselor they need. What we need is yourself, to become a better friend, better family member, learn to listen, understand the person who needs to be heard, who wants to speak to you, not a counselor. If you just listen to your friend, your family member, the person who's trying to speak to you, then they wouldn't need a counselor. They won't have to feel like they're going crazy. No one is crazy. Well, unless you were born like a lunatic, but you know. Instead of just sending the ones who are unfit to fit into unfit for this artificial world off to some like mental health clinic. Instead of doing that, how about we become better people, more sensitive, and not write sensitivity off as some like little weak, fragile, feminine, maternal instinct type of thing. No, men themselves have to become more sensitive and aware, I believe. I'm not being sexist. It's really what I have experienced in this universe. Seriously. And I was saying something else before, but I kind of forgot. Yeah, I can't speak anymore. I can't speak properly on camera. I'm like, it's like Asperger's or something. I don't know. It's just really weird. I can't sing properly either on the camera. I can't speak properly either. See, I just can't speak. It's fucking annoying. Oops, I swore. I hope you know what I'm talking about. And thanks. Bye.